The first teasers for the upcoming Global Dokkan Campaign are here. But what could the theme be? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. It is August 8th, and we are just about 3 weeks away from the start of the biggest Dokkan campaign to date, the Global Dokkan Campaign 2026. And in this video, we're going to break down the recent teaser trailer to see if we can pinpoint anything that might hint to us towards a theme. And I think there might just be one of the biggest hints here. So let's go ahead and let's drop on in. Let's first take a look actually at the teasers here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause our lo-fi here. We're going to pull up the first video here. So as you guys can see, nothing too crazy here, right? We just got an athlete flexing in the mirror doing his Kamehameha, and then we get some animations from previous there, right? I want to come back here, right? Notice the campaign slogan, Our Hearts Together, Dokkan Battle. Not probably meaning much there, but we'll come back to that in a second, okay? But I really want to bring your attention to this here. So extraordinary campaigns begin on August 28th. Notice what's around the lettering. We're going to come back to that in a second. So let's watch the next one, right? So the next one, we got a guy styling up his hair, pretending to go Super Saiyan in the mirror. Our hearts wherever, Dragon Ball. Very nice. Okay. And then again, same thing. Begin on the 29th. And the aura surrounding that detail. And then finally, let's take a look at the third trailer. Alrighty. Once again, August 29th with that golden aura. But did you catch the other thing they mentioned here? Right? So in this video, they specifically mention, let's see. Where is it? Okay. The two students specifically mentioned they could access the Chamber of Spirit and Time. That is the hyperbolic time chamber for those of us on the English-speaking side of the world. So very, very keen reference there. But also I think it's a very important reference to the overall theme of what we want to talk about here. So let's go ahead and let's jump into our theory. So we've got 3 videos here. The first video breaking down somebody training in a gym, right? Doing the Kamehameha, and with our golden aura text here at the end. Our second video is a man going Super Saiyan, or pretending to rather, but notice he's in plain clothes. Okay, and then our third one is speaking about the Room of Spirit and Time, the hyperbolic time chamber. I don't think that these 3 were chosen by accident. In fact, I think that these 3 videos might be telling us the story of GDC. Now, what do those 3 things have in common? Well, I mean, if you guys know anything about the series, I would hope most of you do, okay, but all of these things can be connected to the Android Cell Saga. That is the lead up to the Cell games and Gohan's transformation into the Super Saiyan 2. Remember that Goku and Gohan both train in the hyperbolic time chamber. Vegeta and Trunks do as well. Train in the hyperbolic time chamber in the countdown towards, before the countdown towards the Cell game begins. Goku and Gohan both spend time as Super Saiyan in plain clothes. And of course, inside the chamber, the room of chamber, the hyperbolic time chamber, I'm just going to go with that. This is where Gohan first achieves the Super Saiyan status. So I don't know about you, but these 3 all together, the training, the hyperbolic time chamber, the Super Saiyan, it really gives off strong Cell Saga vibes. And honestly, for a Global Dokkan campaign meant to celebrate the 400 million download celebrations, honestly, it kind of makes sense to come full circle back to one of the first major download celebration LRs, right? Gohan versus Cell. This was a big deal. Granted, this was 2019. I think this was 300 million, I think, because 250 million was the transforming Goku and Frieza, if I believe correctly. And we'll come back to that in a second, because that also carries some meaning here. But yeah, this is, to me, this screams Android Cell Saga. So that is my leading theory on what this could mean. However, there's another possibility here. Of course, we have the Golden Aura here. We have the training. We have the Super Saiyan. There is another possibility that this could mean, and that is, of course, a possibility of Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time on the planet Namek. But that also fits into a larger theory that we discussed in a previous video. Where's our little thing here? Here it is, right? That we discussed in our previous video on the campaign here, where we might see a full Z Saga celebration covering the major arcs from Z, from Saiyan Saga to Namek, right, as one portion of the campaign. I do believe, like, if they did this, Saiyan Saga would kind of take the countdown campaign, with Namek being the full campaign in the part 1, part 2 tackling Android Cell Saga, and part 3 tackling the Buu Saga. This also makes sense in the case of this, right? We have in the first trailer Goku training and preparing to fight Frieza on Namek. Goku and Gohan going Super Saiyan, right? So this could kind of cover both, right? Both of them going Super Saiyan. And then, of course, the training in the Spirit Time. This happens both in Cell Saga and in Buu Saga, right? Where Gotenks does fight Buu in the Chamber of Spirit and Time. And I think it is important to note, right? Gotenks here is the one who shows up in this trailer where they talk about the Chamber of Spirit and Time. So, I mean, that's probably not so much of a coincidence, although, I mean, it is worth pointing out. So Beast Gohan shows up here too. I think it is worth noting, though, specifically here, that the only old animations that show up in this trailer are the Gotenks and Piccolo, right? This is from the Gotenks and Piccolo from the AGL-TUR from the 8th anniversary. And then in this, I think it's this trailer, in the first trailer, the Super Saiyan, I think it is it right here. No, it's in the second trailer, right? Yeah, right here. So if we back up a bit, right? This is the STR Namek Goku transformation, right? So, I mean, these are the only two old animations present in this. All of the rest of them are animations from last year or this year. So, I mean, I also don't think there's any coincidence there. That could be hinting towards what we might be seeing, right? If we do a full Z Saga celebration, right? Part 1, Namek, Goku, and Frieza. Part 2, Gohan and Cell. And then Part 3, I mean, I don't really know what you do for part 3 to cover Buu Saga. I mean, we've got all kinds of crazy things here. I don't think we're going to touch Vegito Blue, but I mean, they did show Gotenks. Maybe a new Gotenks for part 3. Who's to say? A little crazy, but that's just my theory here. It would also line up, right, if we go the full Z Saga route, where we finalize the GDC with the Super Easy A's for these guys. Remember, these guys are on the docket for Super Easy A this year, and they didn't do it during an anniversary, right? But this would be a good way to close it out with a Buu Saga finale. We did talk about them also redoing the Spirit Bomb, but I'm also still kind of on the fence with that idea. I wasn't very sure of it on our last video, but I will point out that it was there before. So with that said, either way, I think both work. A Cell Saga themed worldwide campaign, or at least Cell Saga for a portion of it, right? Or the full Z Saga campaign. I think there's a lot that really connects all of this together, even if these are just meant to be random trailers, which they very well might be. But I do think the golden aura means something here. I do think the specific choice of training and the mention of the Chamber of Spirit and Time are important, as they do tie into those major sagas. I would also like to take time to point out that, right, if Cell Saga is the choice, because we talked about this in our full Z Saga one, Cell Saga actually has a little bit to work with if we go for the easy A's, because you can tackle the Goku and Gohan, you can tackle the Super Trunks, and you could even justify these guys. When we go the full Z Saga route, there's basically nothing we can use for Namek, and there's nothing we can use for Buu Saga. And, I mean, you've pretty much just got Cell Saga. For Namek and Buu Saga, you would have to rely on super easy A's, which, I mean, isn't necessarily terrible. But, well, okay, I guess you have this guy for easy A for Buu Saga, so there's that. Although that would be kind of underwhelming if it's just him for a major celebration. But with that said, that's just our wild theory. I would like to point out one last thing, right? Specifically with the announcements, right? We know the announcement is coming on the 28th, just before the start that they mentioned here on this date, the 29th, right? The announcement, the Dokkan Battle Watch Party, this is where they're going to reveal the announcements. Now, on the JP side, or on the global side, they didn't mention this, but on the JP side, they mentioned that Hironobu Kageyama will be performing at the reveal. And so for those of you who are aware, Hironobu Kageyama did most of the major themes for the Z Saga, right? He didn't really do much outside of that for Dragon Ball, right? Almost all of his work was done for Z Saga, right? Obviously, most famously, Chala He Chala, but also, right, a lot of the movies he also worked on for the themes for those movies. A lot of the ending themes for Z, as well as We Gotta Power for Buu Saga. So, I mean, all of his work was purely Z Saga. So, I mean, getting the guy who did the iconic, Dragon Ball Z song, I don't know, really does lean into that idea of, Z Saga being the major theme, or at the very least, Cell Saga, which is sort of the culmination of Z Saga, at least, and the first portion of it, at least, right? Obviously, right, We Gotta Power opens into the second one, but right, if we're bringing Kageyama, people probably recognize him most for Chala He Chala, right? So, just throwing that out there, that I do think that is slightly important. And then, of course, right, we have our Pixel update, which I did talk about in a previous video, right, following the course of Goku to Namek to Super Saiyan, and ending for the month of September, or I'm sorry, for the month of August, and which would end in the beginning of the campaign, and then the next one following Cell Saga to Buu Saga, which would end with the ending of the Global Dokkan Campaign. So, there's a lot here. Again, all of this could mean nothing, but I do think there's something here. I think at a minimum, it tells us Cell Saga is going to be a portion of it, even if it doesn't mean full Z Saga. But hey, that's just my theory, guys. If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, what do you think of the new teasers? Do you think it means anything, or do you just think it's random nonsense put together to build hype for the upcoming Global Dokkan Campaign? Or do you think there's anything here? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.